everyone. Yeah, so it's a little bit late, but I think it's time for me to talk about my top 10 albums for this year, for 2019, or I should say my top 10 electronic albums specifically, because I listen to all kinds of music, but I feel like a lot of people have a lot of like general top tens, and I feel like there's a lack of certain genres being talked about, especially electronic music. And it's kind of the point of my channel is to talk about a lot of the stuff that people aren't talking about. And there's been a lot of really good stuff this year, especially in the electronic realm. I mean, every year is a pretty good year, and there's just so much to like look up and tackle. And there's so many labels and so many DJs and so many artists. It's so overwhelming, but it's also really amazing. So hopefully my list or Rex can maybe set you on a path to look up like artists that are associated with the album or the label or just all the other people involved, and you can discover some more awesome music. um, yeah, so I don't own a lot of these albums. I think I only own about three on the list, so I guess I'll show off the physical copy when I get to it in the list. And I'm gonna try and play a short clip of some of my favorite tracks off of each album too. And I will try to put all the Bandcamp links for each album to check out, or if they don't have a Bandcamp link, maybe if they're on Spotify or wherever they are, I'll try and link them. But yeah, so again, I have 10. Hope you enjoy it, or are listening to something that did come out this year. I guess it's kind of like an honorable mention. Well, the compilation came out, but the music is a little bit earlier than that. This, of course, this is the Patrick Kelly Mechanical Fantasy Box compilation. I talked about, I think, even in the last video. Really great stuff. Excellent compilation. Of course, on the Amazing Dark Entry label. Yeah, I love this comp. It's great. Check it out. So yeah, let's start from the top. Number 10 is Echo Tone Under His Eye. This is an EP from the label Dame Music, and I believe it is a Berlin-based label. This EP itself is, well, the physical has about 4 tracks. I think the digital only has 3 extra tracks. And all the tracks are named after the Deadly Sins, which is pretty cool. It's just a very smooth, like, electro album. A lot of really unique sounds for electro. Really, really tight production. It's just a really pleasant listen to. Especially if you're not into something that's like super hard hitting, but you want a little bit of just really good techno and electro. I think this EP will be really good to check out. Also to note, I guess when I talk about my top 10 albums, I do kind of include EPs and albums together, unless they're wicked short. Yeah, I know it's silly to do it, but that's what I do. So I guess there's technically EPs that I consider albums on here, but that's the beauty of my list. Alright, number 10 is Pharmacon with Devour. Yeah, I was pretty blown away by this Pharmacon release. If you don't know, Pharmacon is a New York-based artist. She is on the major label Sacred Bones, and I think her real name is Margaret Chardet. Probably pronouncing that wrong. And she is a female power electronic artist, and the power electronics she makes is just really good. It's hard, heavy, but the production is excellent. It's not too polarizing, kind of like this album. It's not very outrageous, but it's still really just strong and violent and dark and heavy, and her vocals are insane. She kind of takes the I don't want to say black metal vocals, but kind of like really heavy, growly vocals compared to like a lot of the spoken word yelling vocals that's in a lot of power electronics. All her albums are excellent, but honestly, this one that came out this year was really good. And I know she talked about how she kind of went into it differently, like production-wise. I don't know the exact details, but it definitely adds to the quality of the album. And I think it's a really good entry point if you're someone who's interested in getting into power electronics. I think this album is a really good point to start. I actually own this album. Here is the cover, really lovely. Pharmacon always has interesting covers. I saw her live too. Her live show is crazy, and she actually she'll get into the crowd, and she's a tiny woman, and she's not afraid. She's like yelling in people's faces with the microphone. She's in there. It was great. It was a great show. I think she's still touring too. Not in the States anymore. I believe she's in Europe. And the record was cool. It's got like this split, like black and white, which goes really good with the album cover. But yeah, number 9, excellent choice, great power electronics, great entry into the genre, I believe. Okay, number 8 is a compilation, and the compilation from Shanghai China. It is SVBK KVLT Cash 01, and I believe it's a various compilation. So yeah, this is a EP or comp album from this label, which is SVB KVLT, and yeah, it's from Shanghai China, and I have to admit, I'm a bit ignorant on a lot of like techno and artists from China, but I know they have a really crazy scene there, and everything I've heard from China has been excellent. If you are into just the really heady and heavy and really experimental side of techno, I would definitely check out stuff, especially on this label. And this album itself really moved me and made me want to look more into it. I would definitely suggest this compilation if you're just really interested in what's been going on in China, techno-wise, and DJs. A few notable artists that are on this compilation that you might know is like Tsu Sing, Pretty Boy, or Boy, that's like BWOY, Zalvia D. Zalvia D is really good. Like Hip 11E. A lot of very interesting artists. Every song is very different from each other, and like I said, definitely on the more experimental sides with experimental samples and sounds, but some of it sounds like complete, like that cyberpunk heavy synth sound. It's great. It's heavy stuff. It's awesome. Alright, number 7 is Donna with the Inferno EP. So I remember I had brought this up on my mid-year list too. A few albums show up on my mid-year list. It's still great. It's still an excellent little EP that kind of mixes up the like techno, but a little bit of trancey sound, which I love. I love like techno that mixes trance up with it. And I'm telling you, I'm gonna bring the trance back. You wait. 90s trance is gonna come back, I swear. Yeah, this is off one of my favorite labels, which is Cream Organization, which is a label out in the Netherlands. And they just put out excellent stuff. Again, if you want just really good, clean, interesting sounding techno that does all kind of variants and samples and sounds, definitely Cream Organization is good. They've done splits of my other favorite labels, which is Lies. I think they've done a few splits of other labels. They're just good. And this EP is no exception. Again, just like pleasant, really pretty, beautiful, almost like ambient background sounds with like really great techno going over it. I don't know, very enjoyable. There's 5 tracks, I think. Yeah, 5 tracks on this. I do own this one too. I picked it up. It's pretty simple. Your simple, standard bleach sleeve with the record. It's got the little hyena on it. There it is. But yeah, definitely pick this up. It's awesome stuff. Alright, number 6, another EP. This is by Stefano Moretti, God Bless Techno. So this is off the famous or infamous Arts label that's put out acts like I Hate Models, They're also from the Netherlands, I believe. And yeah, this is kind of lives up to its name. This is just straight, hard-hitting techno. Lots of jams, lots of sounds. It's pretty straightforward. You pretty much get what you think you're gonna get. Listen to this, especially if you've listened to Stefano already before. It's definitely that art sound, which is like kind of modern trancey. Get that modern heavy techno sound. I apologize. I don't know how to explain a lot of this stuff well enough. Besides, like, keep saying heavy techno. Like, there's techno, then there's like the really heavy stuff, and there's the smooth stuff. Doing my best, but I definitely hope you all check out each of these albums. This one is just 4 tracks, I believe, and they all sound good. All the albums on my list, pretty much every track on all these albums, I really enjoy. But yeah, God Bless Techno, the title track and like track King of Tool just slam you with sounds right away. Really awesome. Great EP. Alright, number 5. This is another compilation. This is a big compilation from one of my other favorite labels, Lies, Long Island Electrical Systems, by Ron Morelli. He runs it. This is a 22-track record that just has all kinds of artists on it, like CBW, S. English, Bayo Wainzer. Too many to list. I mean, I could probably list them. I actually own this record too. Yeah, this I've talked about this also in my middle year review. It's just, you got a combination between like dark ambient, really noisy techno, like industrial meets techno tracks, slowed down vocals, heavy vocals, weird samples, really compressed noisy sounds. It's got everything. Like I said, it's got creeping drone mixed in, goes in a full heavy, deep techno. Yeah, I think the word I used for it was like subterranean in my video, and I still kind of stand by that. I don't know how to explain it with that weird adjective, but like this record just sounds like some subterranean techno, if that was a thing. Yeah, this is definitely in my top. If you want to get into like heavier techno or just Lies in general, I would definitely suggest just checking this out. A lot of really great artists, a lot of my favorite artists on here. I have the special blue variant. Look how pretty that is, which I don't think is available anymore. It's a limited thing. I think the black is still available. I might be wrong. A lot of good Lies stuff sells out quick. Yeah. Let's see if I can get out the... Let's see. Card that has some of the artists on it. I love all their pictures too. A lot of quirky dudes, and I mean that in like the actual sense of the word, as a positive, like exact quirky dudes. So yeah, Hog's on here. The Hog track's wicked good. I mean, they're all good. I can't think of one like weak or not that great track on here. It's all just awesome. Yeah. Triple LP. Really, really good stuff. Alright, number 4 is Dax J, Chaos Comes to Conquer EP. Again, this was on my middle year list, and it's still on here. It's just typical great Dax J. I don't know what it is. Dax J just knows how to make like really interesting sounding trancey techno. He can just take these songs and just, they're kind of simple and basic, like the structures and the samples he uses, but he just stretches them out and makes them just sound so excellent and smooth and hitting and rhythmic. I don't know. Definitely, I love Dax J. This one is off the Mon Black label. I can never pronounce that. And I believe that is from Berlin. One of the best tracks is Speedball on here. I believe there's only 4 tracks, and they're all great. They all mix into each other. It's all just a really good experience. Again, I don't actually go to clubs and listen to techno because I'm a weirdo, but I have flown down the Mass Pike very fast and listened to a lot of this, so it's just as good. A lot of the stuff I work out to, which is also as effective. But yeah, all of it's great. Like I said, all this is great workout music, great walking music, just great jamming out music. All right, number 3 is VTSS Identity Process. So this is off a label called Repich Recordings, which is also in Berlin. This one I kind of been sleeping on the whole year. I've only found this one recently, and it's wicked good. Again, this is just dirty, ugly, hard techno. The samples are great. The track with like Code Red on it, the guy screaming Code Red in the background, and it like goes up and down, but in and out of the mix on the track is great. Each track kind of has like its own like main like crazy sample going on, and it's really played around with. There's a lot of variation to a lot of the tracks, which is good. I always like that. And yeah, this is definitely my number 3. These are my top 3, and this one definitely deserves to be in the top. Really good stuff. Alright, my number 2, Yegod's 12-inch self-titled. This is off the label Bunker Panzerkreuz. I'm trying to remember. Panzerkreuz. They are also in the Netherlands. A lot of Netherlands in this list. This is 6 tracks. And man, this is definitely... It was kind of hard. My top 2, the first and second one, I mean, even the top 3, they're kind of interchangeable, especially number 2 and number 1. This album is just dark and sexy. This is definitely a bit more electro-based than techno. I don't know. It's very sexy, if that makes sense. The vocals on it are just sexy and dark, and it's very, I hate to use this word, but it's definitely very kind of like gothy, down-tempo electric album. It's just great. It's sensual. It's really groovy. It's really good. Every track is awesome. I've listened to this on repeat tons and tons of times. It's definitely pure ear candy, or whatever that word is. Yeah, this album, I think, out of all the albums, is definitely like ear candy. I would definitely check this out. This is one of my favorites. And it's definitely like a constant tie of number 1. Alright, and my number 1 electronic album of the year is Remco Beekwalder's Culture Vulture. So yeah, this hasn't changed for my mid-year list. This is still my number 1 album. It's still my number 1 electronic album. It's just wicked good. Remco is a Dutch DJ, and this is his first LP. He's had like a lot of EPs. Although I think this is still called an EP, but it's definitely a full-length album. I don't know. I treat it like it has 14 tracks. It's an album. This is on his own label, Emeralds. And yeah, this is just fast-paced, fast actions, hard-hitting techno. It never lets you go. It grips you right from the very beginning. The first track, the first sample, it talks about what's a culture vulture. Like, it literally just grabs you and doesn't let go for the whole album. You're with it to the end. Just shakes you and keeps you going. This is adrenaline-filled. It's, I don't know, it's just awesome. I wish I could describe all these albums better, but this one, yeah, I think this one's probably the most worth your time. I mean, they all are, but if you just want some, like, yeah, I want techno, I want just something to completely jam out with and groove, this album, Culture Vulture, is that one. It's so great. Every track is great. It's hard for me to pick a track to even, like, feature, but I think Midnight Marauders might be my favorite track on it. It's definitely one of my tracks of the year, if not track of the year. looks like my record is done on that side, and my list is also done. So I think that'll be it. Yeah, I thank you so much for watching, and thank you for a good year. This has been my first year on YouTube and doing this, and I've really enjoyed it. And I hope people have gleaned some albums or interesting stuff from me. I appreciate all the support and nice comments. I do like comments. I do like just talking about music in general. Yeah, so I hope everybody has a good new year, and it's time to try to be happy. It's the new year. Let's do it. Let's improve our lives, and everyone else's. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching. And yeah, hope you check some of these out. Alrighty.